Hello, everyone. Eduardo Almeida here with Wise Option. And today we have a special session. We have a special presence here today. We are bringing a new value, a new talent, and a good friend to join our team here at Wise Option. And we're really proud to announce the presence of Brandie Blodgett. And we are very happy to have you here, Brandie. Welcome to the game. Welcome to the team.
Thank
Indeed,
you so
welcome.
much.
Yes, through the years we've been, I've been literally haunting Brandy to give us the chance and pick on her brain and understand and decodify, if you would, reverse engineer on the horse industry, which is not an easy thing. And we also have here today Andrew, who has been, a project coordinator at Wise Option, a big asset who's connecting the dots and make us use internally also our, you know, um, concepts and theories of silent communications and implementation and boosting the ideas so we can serve the horse industry better. How are you today, Andrew?
Doing well. Thank you for asking.
All right. Well, I think it doesn't need much of an introduction because Brandy, I think you are a popular name in the horse industry already for so many years. But I'd like to hear a little bit about your story. And well, we finally could catch you and have you helping us to, like I said, to understand better the horse industry and help us to see how we can better serve. So tell us a little bit about your background and your aspirations and finally some of the expectations of the work we could do together.
Okay. Well, I feel like the industry is just home for me, obviously, because I grew up with my father as a practicing veterinarian and my mom working alongside him all those years. And so it certainly is a home place for me. And I knew early in my career I probably wanted to spend my time, working in animal health, most likely. So very soon after college, I went to work in the animal health industry in sales and marketing, or in sales. My my career kind of shifted gears a little bit when I started having kids, and I wanted to have more flexibility at home. And that actually opened the door for me to do other types of work in the space, more marketing and consulting work. And, I continued to, just do that for the last, 20, 25 years, working with a variety of both, veterinary industry folks, but also other just equine industry entities as well. So I feel like most of my value with any team is usually connectedness. I love connecting with people and connecting people to resources and helping businesses thrive and people find their pathways. That's something that I really have enjoyed doing, and have a strong passion for. And I'm looking forward to diving into more of the software side of things. That's a new space for me, but it's been fun, I think, to be reconnected with your team, in a way that it's exposing me to that veterinary practice life again, and the how crazy that life can be. And I think that the thing that today is something that I'm excited about is your program, your tool, your software is something that helps those guys, I think, not live such a crazy life every day. It really is a tool that allows them, some freedom in many ways. And I think that's something that I'm excited about sharing with other folks.
Thank you so much. I will tell you this, Brandy. One of the reasons that made me really happy when you accepted our invitation was the fact that, well, we are doing our best here to cover the needs of the equine industry. If the people out there who's watching us today are, looking for a solution, that's what the gap we're trying to fill because we notice that there are so many options. But the wise option we are trying to create is one for the equine industry. The point that made me really happy was the fact that Andrew and I, we are pretty much project managers. I used to say to our folks that I'm just a computer geek trying to understand the hocus pocus behind the equine industry. But in your case, you grew up with your, dad, and like you said, and all the whole environment surrounding you. So there's the terminology, and I believe you also worked with pharmaceutical companies and in the industry, and you have had that exposure that I'm okay to say that I lack that understanding, and we need somebody to guide us, because our intention here as a company is not to provide the best software, but also the best device we can, because technology today is way past the point that was in the past just one tool where people could create fancy invoices. And today it's an equipment as important as a radiograph or an ultrasound machine, because it's how they're going to connect the dots within the practice and thrive as providing customer experience and thrive as providing a fruitful and pleasant work environment. And that's what we are looking for. Andrew, I don't know if you remember, we've made so many researches as far as trying to understand the horse needs out there, the doctor horse needs, and it was a hard thing for me to understand. But with Brandie here today, I think we can have some answers finally.
Oh yeah, she's going to bring a lot of extra insights, and some of the connections she's already helped us make have been invaluable. So I think we're going to make some great progress together.
Yeah, Brandie, and talking about, because we cover such a wide range of flavors in the equine industry. One of the problems that I have personally seen, it's to direct the company and the product in a way that we can be masters in what we do. We have had competition, like any industry, we have competitors, but we've noticed that there is an influx of other industries, such as small animal solutions, coming into play. And I believe, at least that was my bet in the beginning of the company, that creating something that is specialized would be the differential that the market is looking for. What is your interpretation or understanding so far as this mentality we're trying to be, the specialized solution for the industry versus this presence of other industries coming to play?
I think your direction and maybe staying true to who you are in the equine space where you started makes the most sense. Just in some of the conversations that I've had with industry connections, I feel like the space is still something that merits and desires, personal relationships, which I think that's still that's how you operate. That's how your team functions.
Correct.
And to me, that is one of the things that will set you apart from all of these other companies and make you unique and special. The other thing I hear that you say that I love, and I've heard your team say this too, is you want to figure out those connections and those relationships that work. And I think your honesty in that is huge, because there's a lot of companies, no matter what product you're selling, there's companies that want to sell to everyone, and they want to do business with everyone because they want it all, right? And and I could see naturally how anybody would want to see those numbers, right?
Yes.
But I've seen your approach be a little bit I don't even know how to describe it, but you're very upfront about making sure that you find the right fit, because when you find the right fit, it works better for everyone. And so you may pass by 10 practices and know that they didn't take you for whatever reason, or maybe you just drove past them because you saw some things, right?
Exactly.
I think that there's a lot to be said for that. And I feel like the industry also has practitioners who value relationships. And, I hope that that's something that I love doing. And I feel like knowing that about y'all makes me even more excited to pick up the phone and call places and learn more about what their needs are. I think that's the other thing that I'll bring to your team too is, I may make 10 phone calls where I'm just learning about what it is that they need. And we may not be the right fit for them.
Precisely.
But it's the opportunity to listen to the practitioner and hear them out and hear what those true needs are. And maybe we're not the right fit today, but we might be in 5 years. You don't know.
Exactly. And the maintenance of the status quo. Sometimes people get scared of the migration, monster that presents themselves. And well, that's what we do day in, day out. It's helping people to implement the software. So to us, I don't want to estimate the presence of the importance and the pressure of a migration. However, what concerns me is that sometimes not making the move, maintaining the company in the status quo, can be detrimental and even cause more loss to the practice itself than facing the situation and moving forward. But you were very proper. As we dive together into this venue and this venture of changing concepts, it's so important that both sides are in sync. So that's why we have so many conversations. One of the things that Andrew helped us in the beginning, one thing that scares us is when people say, no, I'm okay. Where do I sign? I said, no, let's talk a little bit. We need to understand your needs. We need to prepare the expectations on both ends, because we are talking about, hopefully, about a relationship that should last many, many years ahead. And going for something that is, planned, not that it's going to be without bumps on the road, but if we do those plannings and if we understand each other, it's better than you just jumping into something that you're gonna, I hate myself surprise. Not even birthday party surprise is my thing, But so there's something that I don't want to give to our crowd. It's surprises as well, because that's the minimum I can do. So understanding this and trying to get this idea of, I'm just afraid, and I'd like to hear your both opinions in this sense, because sometimes I'm very afraid this to be understood as us being cocky, or, you're too good for us. Because indeed, we have had businesses that we clearly noticed they were not prepared to take the action, and the moment was not the best. But I'm very afraid of us telling them the truth. And sometimes, luckily, it's one case here and there. It's not the majority, but it does happen. And how can we assure that the brand is not going to be stained by this possible misunderstanding?
Yeah, I think it's the most important thing is to focus on the fact that it's about a business partnership. I think a lot of people, when they think about the type of company you are, they just think about the software. But really, you have over 23 years of experience in this industry. We've seen what works. We know what doesn't work. And so we're there to be a partner. And if we're not going to be an effective partner, we want to be upfront with that. If we're not going to be the right partner for their business, so I think just maintaining that mentality, especially as we shape the future of our website and our company and the people that we talk to, and the partners that we create, is going to continue to grow the business for sure.
I agree with Andrew. And I think too, you have that pattern of consistency of sticking true to who you are and staying in a certain space. And when you have that consistency, to me, I think that keeps you from, other people kind of jumping to conclusions and having certain feelings. You're going to experience that somewhat, but I think in the conversations that I've had with the practices who use Wise Option, and conversations even with people who don't, that are familiar with your product, I think it's clear already that people have a good understanding with the direction you're going.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And in this, by the same token, I also would like to ask you guys what you think about a second thing that concerns me a lot is not growing too fast. Of course, like any other company, we want to grow. One thing that has been consistent in our history is the organic development we have had. 95%, I think it's something bit over 90 for sure, but I would guess 95% of our new accounts come from referrals, which make us really proud of it. Um, but the point of, not growing too fast, because one thing that I prime is this personal touch, like you guys said. Yeah, there will be a time probably that we're going to have a help desk. Today, our attempt has been, when you account managers, that has been our approach. So every time you call Wise Option, the person should not have to explain everything from the beginning, because if we are talking to the same person, you just continue from one who has left last phone call, and there's a kind of an understanding about your needs where you are in the project. Do you think it's sustainable for us to keep maintaining this relationship, and do you guys think that this is going to be valued by the folks out there seeing this difference?
My thinking is, I think it depends on who's going to, evaluate it from the value perspective. Um, in my past experience with other industry software, it gets to me, and I think it also depends on age. I think age is a factor in this space, and you have to think about that. The younger generation seems to breeze through technology in a different way. They're used to webinars, they're used to YouTube teaching them things. And so it's very familiar and very comfortable. And I think the older people are, it's not, it's just, it's habit for us to be able to have a conversation when we need help. So I think, you know, that's to me where we're going to see the shift. And I think you could see some growth quickly in
Mhm.
spaces where you've got a younger demographic that is the one, making the decision and training and embracing the software. But then you have the ability, in my mind, to really grow and connect with these practices who are scared of making such a big change and making such a big commitment, because you still today function in a way where you can provide those account managers who understand, the account and want to work with them one-on-one. And so I see us going down that path. We're every practice, every business has to pivot at some point. So to me, we're the perfect partner for a tenured practice who needs to make a transition. And it's challenging and it's scary, because we're going to hold their hand in all ways. And then as far as sustainability, Andrew can probably speak more to this, but my thinking is, you know, I I feel like I'm a believer in starting small, and I'm also a believer in not catering to the masses. That's just, I think there's ways to really make yourself unique in the space in that way. Um, I feel like it's sustainable, because I feel like you're going to become truly that practice manager solution for a practice. That's where you'll shine. For others, using larger platforms, or not necessarily larger platforms, I should say different platforms, I think it just becomes a platform for them. Where I think when they work with you, from the conversations I've had, you're part of the practice in many ways. Your team is part of them. They have, direct access, and as long as the industry is growing and those practices are growing, I would imagine,
Oh, that's precisely this, because there was a time that I knew the name of all of our clients,
oh, I'm
pretty
sure.
much all the users, and it's weird in a certain way for me to let it go and lose a little bit this contact. I always was so close,
Yeah.
to all the users, and now it's getting to the size that the company is growing, and we have to go with this, but still. I believe in this, touch, in this, connection, and this understanding, this proximity with the goals and alignment. After all, golly, I've worked with other industries. I've never seen something as complex as the equine industry, which leads me to the
Yeah.
next question that I would have for you guys. How are we going to explain out there this difference about a system that was made for the equine industry and try to fit something like that's coming? With all due respect, I've seen other softwares out there. They're beautiful tools. But they were not built for the equine industry. And there's so many intricacies and so many nuances, details on how things are done in this particular niche. Like QuickBooks, for example. Sometimes we grab a solo vet who's taking all the notes on paper and using QuickBooks, which is a beautiful system for invoicing and charging credit cards, but it's an accounting system. It was not built for that matter. Now, one of the things that we are facing is exactly things that were built in with the mentality of the small industry, which is a very specific niche as well. Now, how are you guys planning to present that difference?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept because there is a big difference there. I think the most important thing though is to, of course, Brandy's insights are invaluable when it comes to understanding what the industry already has in play. But I think one of the things that we're going to gain the most insight from this year is talking to more prospective users and even people that aren't even prospective users that have other softwares, so we can try and learn, what is it about the competition that makes them appealing, and see what we can do to shape, the future of Wise Option accordingly. But I think the most important thing is that we do showcase and understand the equine industry, and so one of the things that we want to try and do this year is expand that knowledge and expand that difference. So what I hope to see as the year progresses is us gain more insights on what kind of things that we can help our practices with. So, for example, is there information that we have that we've seen other practices do that would help a practice that just started with us learn how to use our software more effectively, learn how to run their operations more effectively? Is there information that they wish they had that we have a particular expertise in, or that our existing clients are willing to share? So these are areas that we're going to be exploring, and as we develop the website through the year, I hope that we can have more content to showcase, what exactly do we know and how much we want to help, and that should help us stand out for sure.
Great. I think Andrew said it very well, and it made me kind of rethink about maybe how you started. And Andrew mentioned 23 years of experience. I think you got into a space and built something completely from scratch that catered to a very complex space or industry. And by you staying in that and listening to your current customers, I think that's, to me, going to set you apart from anybody else out there, because you're going straight to your customers, listening to what they need and what the industry needs, and not just building something that you think functions well over here and hoping everybody else jumps on board to use what you've built, right? You're listening to them and building what they need. And to me, that's totally different. Very, very unique in the space.
Well, indeed, we have so many questions and so many, things that we wanted to explore. I'm so thrilled and happy to have you joining us here, Brandie. Welcome to the team. I hope you guys help us to deliver this message, how important it is for us to go in this direction, make the software to become no longer an expense, but an investment into people's charts, because it's all about the return on their investment. So that's one of the bottom lines we want to prove. I'm very confident that you guys are going to broadcast that message in a very specific manner that is understood out there. And so, just thank you for choosing Wise Option to be your next challenge, and let's work together.
Definitely. We're happy to be here.
Thank you so much, guys. We have big announcements coming out soon, so stay tuned, because plug to Wise Option channel. like I'm saying, I'm going to make a little suspense right now. There's big announcements coming. We're going to let you know in the one of the upcoming podcasts or wise tips. I see you all around. Thank you so much. See you next
Good one.
time. Have a good one.